Hello and welcome to another episode of Screen 3 Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Harry, and today I am joined by...
Cayden. Yes, we've also got Max Ghost.
Yeah, I'm dead. Definitely dead. Dead. And came back from the death, just to talk about Godzilla, because it's great.
Godzilla, -1. What did we think of the film, lads? Godzilla -1.
I'm going to get up my review of it to refresh myself on everything.
Yeah, I don't think I wrote anything for my review, but I remember coming out of the cinema because I went with a couple of... Because I watched it at the cinema.
Oh, you lucky arsehole.
But yeah, I came out of the cinema and I was like, this is one of the best films of this year. And I've never seen a Godzilla film before, and I just don't think I need to watch any of the other ones anyway, because this one was just like...
Oh, you have to watch maybe the earlier ones. And I don't mean like the originals. I mean like the really cringy era. When the Americans made some of the weirdest movies. But they're so funny and they're great. I don't know if they're even supposed to be funny, but I love them. Kind of Godzilla is a family movie that we all watch. So having... All of them, we've always watched them together. The only one I've not watched, because I just didn't want to watch it, was the one with the actor who played 11.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. I didn't watch that one because the trailer just looked terrible immediately. And I was like, I'm not interested. If it turns out to be a cult classic, then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But it's not at the moment. It's not good enough.
If I'm completely honest, I'm with Cayden on that. I didn't write anything for my review. I didn't watch it in cinema, but I watched it when it, like the day after it came out on Netflix. And my God, it was so good.
I've been so excited to watch it. The lead up to it was amazing. Just sitting there watching it get higher and higher and on the board until eventually it finally released on streaming, and then I just watched it immediately with my family.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I was so happy they released it to Netflix because for the longest time, once it came out of cinemas, it wasn't on anything. Like, it wasn't even on... You couldn't even buy it on, like, DVD or digital. And then out of nowhere, they just put it on Netflix. And I was like, oh, well, that's a win in my books.
They need to release more Japanese films in the Western Hemisphere. Just... They are so good at writing a story with slow pace. That's my favorite thing about Japanese writing. Let's say the only other thing that I've watched that's Japanese is probably Studio Ghibli's films. Now, I'm not a big anime buff, but I do like their movies. And I love how they can make a scene that's technically boring. There's nothing going on. We're just panning across grass. And yet you feel so relaxed and very much immersed in this world. Meanwhile... here and in America, we have such fast-paced movies that don't give us a moment to breathe. It's really weird how different our films are.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I want more of these films. More. That's my vote.
I don't know about you guys, but these Asian films, because some of them you don't even know about, and then you get things like Godzilla -1 and like Parasite and Old Boy, all these Asian films that become so successful, if you know what I mean. They need to start like more of them, if you know what I mean, because they become like some of the most popular movies.
It just needs more encouragement to actually be published over here.
Yeah.
Because I bet you that they've got tons of movies, cult classics for them, amazing movies, and we don't get them.
Yeah.
I think they definitely need to be encouraged more, and I think for some reason there's a bit of a stigma around subtitles. A lot of people don't want to watch a movie just because it's subtitled, and then they wouldn't watch a dub. And I think anime dubs are fine. Like Studio Ghibli, I usually watch the dubs, but if you're watching something that's in a different language, just always try and watch the original, because dubs are just never quite as good, because they have to translate it. A lot of stuff gets lost in translation, and it doesn't always have the same impact, as if you were watching it in the original language.
Yeah, but I have to disagree, and this is the first time I've actually said this publicly online. I've been trying to keep it not on there. I suffer from dyslexia, and having audio is far better than reading. The amount of times you can actually mess it up. So for that situation, I'm happy that there are voiceover ones or dubs. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
but there are certain occasions where even I would say you probably shouldn't listen to the voiceover one. 1970, 1988? That movie, that TV series that I've recommended so much from Netflix, they have multicultural language in it the whole way through, and it's way better on subtitles than it is dubbed, because you get that the original voices, you get to hear that original language, and it's how it's supposed to be watched. It's weird at the moment how much directors really are trying to keep us to watch it the way they want it to be experienced. I find that really weird, because we are the audience, the target audience. It kind of feels like we should be deciding how we watch film, and yet at the moment it's the director's vision. I just find that weird.
I on the subtitles bit, with I watched like Parasite and Old Boy, and there's no English dub in it. You can either watch it with no subtitles or with subtitles. So I had to watch it with subtitles, and I think it's so much better. I can't understand a word they're saying, but at least you feel like what the movie was like when they were filming it. No dub, no nothing, just subtitles about what they're saying, and it's brilliant, especially Parasite.
Yeah, I think obviously I understand your reasoning, Mac. That's like completely fair. But I think the only reason when a dub is sort of like a good way to watch a movie is when the director actually goes out of their way to make a dub. Obviously, when they do the Studio Ghibli ones, they'll bring in like big name actors, like especially in The Boy and the Heron, you had like Willem Dafoe, Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson, like etc. So they've really gone out of the way to make it the dub as good as they can, instead of just sort of having it as an afterthought where they're just sort of like, let's also do an English version so we get more money, essentially.
Oh, I do love Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, they are good films. But to kind of put us back on track to reviewing a specific movie instead of just Japanese movies, I will say I really love the fact they showed the impact that the war had on the every person. All of the there was that kind of, not stigmata, but that following hell that man had to go through for the fact that he didn't die, didn't commit suicide through flying a plane and stuff, and what was that called?
Kamikaze.
Didn't do a kamikaze, and I think the fact that they focus so much on that is interesting, because it's not that wasn't something done for us. That was something done for the Japanese audience to try and bring back that thought of how they had to live in shame for what they did for a little bit, and how they didn't want to live with that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, this has probably been plastered everywhere, but with Godzilla -1, it's like the first film where like Godzilla doesn't actually matter, because the main story is this Japanese guy, and I just found that so interesting. But the bits where Godzilla is on screen, it's absolutely incredible. But I found the story just so interesting, because I'm a massive fan of war films. So we were already onto a win in like the first 10 minutes, and then when Godzilla appeared, I was like, this is just an amazing film, full stop.
The choices they made for Godzilla in that movie are very interesting, because there were a few moments that I think it took me out of the movie, because it was, they were trying to go, they were reversing it, weren't they? They were going to make it look like the puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really interesting choice, and I like it because it will make it stand out on its own in the modern film industry. But there were just a few moments that it wasn't threatening to me anymore, and there were a few moments that it just looked weird. They didn't ruin the whole movie for me. They were just a few moments, and for the most part, the movie was still amazing. There was just a few moments that confused me, should I say.
There.
I think, especially when they sort of would do, there's some like close-ups you see of Godzilla when he's completely out of the water, and it does look a bit like silly, but obviously I think that is sort of how it's supposed to look. But yeah, that is just something you have to get around when watching it. But for the most part, I think he is fairly like threatening. Although at the start of the film, I remember sitting there because the two people I watched it with, they'd already seen it and they're coming back to watch it for like the second or third time. And I remember sitting there, and at the beginning of the film, when the first time you see Godzilla, he's like fairly small, and I just thought, I was like, is this it? Is like, am I missing something? Like, he's not very threatening at all. Like, he's probably about 20, 30 feet tall, and it's just not very threatening. And then eventually, you see why, and then he gets a lot bigger.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know about you guys, but the first 10 minutes, I thought it was really, really similar to Jurassic Park, the bit with the T-Rex. Because just the size of Godzilla and the situation they're in, trying to escape. I don't know why, I just got that feel.
I can tell you the moment that really confused me. I've only just remembered it now.
Go on.
It's Godzilla swimming.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice this?
Yeah.
He's fighting against these boats and going on and like that. Oh yeah, spoilers by the way. And he's like a duck. His legs are swimming furiously, and you don't tell that above water. And I've watched a lot of Godzilla movies now, and that really confused me. Because I've never thought that Godzilla was swimming. I always thought he was so big he could just walk on the ground. He looks like he's walking on the ground.
Yeah, that's
But
what
apparently
I don't get,
he's-
because out of nowhere he can suddenly stand up after swimming, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's a duck? He's a massive dinosaur duck. That's a good title for an episode. Massive dinosaur duck.
Godzilla -1 review.
I don't know. I think maybe because I've never ever seen other Godzilla films, it was like, oh yeah, he's swimming. That's fine. I never really thought about him standing up and going along.
But he looks like he's
Although-
standing there.
Yeah, there's the bit when he's chasing the boat, and they're obviously dropping the bombs, and they're trying to get into his mouth. I really like that scene, but
Yeah.
I feel like now thinking back on it, I feel like he probably shouldn't have been able to swim faster than the boat.
Yeah.
It was it's like a fisherman's boat, isn't it? Oh no, they have a gun on it, but it's not like a super fast boat.
Yeah, that's
And
a fair
obviously
point.
he's huge.
Yeah, the swimming thing does blow my mind. I've watched another film where that was another Godzilla film where that was kind of the plot. Is like, oh, he can't go any further. The sea goes too far. He would have to start swimming, and he would be slower, or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's logic. That makes sense. Now he's a duck. And that's not. It's gonna take me ages to get that out of my mind.
I like Duckzilla.
Oh,
Duckzilla,
Duckzilla
yeah.
goes hard.
Duckzilla, yeah.
Yeah. The CGI in that movie was amazing.
Incredible.
Initially, I want to talk about my favorite moment of the whole film, and that is the first proper explosion that's going on when he's in that city. He's building up that energy, which is just the best shot already. I would have been happier with the fact that he's kind of. Did you play that game where there's that pirate in the middle of a barrel and you pull out the little swords?
Oh, I know that game. I can't remember what it's called, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it either, but that's what comes to my mind is when those things kind of pull out and lock. I'm just thinking of that game, which is really funny. But that was amazing, that locking power that he's got, and then that release of power. Initially, I was like, oh, it looks small, and then we kind of zoom in on the person that we are following, the protagonist of this story. And the impact is amazing because you see all that dust, that debris fly past. And then my favorite bit, it comes back. And I was so happy when all of that dust came back because that's what would happen. And it was just great to see that in a movie. I don't feel like you see that often. It's happened, but not often.
Yeah, there's so many bits like that from the film that are just like absolutely astonishing. One of my favorite bits is when they encounter Godzilla for the first time and they try and shoot a sea mine at him, and then it blows up, and then his face is like all destroyed, and then it regenerates.
Yeah,
The CGI, I am so happy that won best visual effects. It's insane, and
yeah.
they only had like a $10 million budget or something like that. That I just it's better than most CGI nowadays, if you know what I mean. You look at sorry to plaster the MCU, but if you look at some modern MCU CGI, they have like a budget of 200, 300 million, and you look at that, it shows you don't need a big budget to have great CGI.
Yeah, I've seen what's it the new Captain America that's supposed to release next year. It's got a
There's a
budget
new
of
Captain
like
America.
yeah, it's got a budget of like 375 million
Oh
because
my
they've had to have so many reshoots.
God almighty. That's
Um,
like the highest budget, isn't it, for a film?
yeah, and then obviously with films, a lot of the time, um, they'll spend the same amount they did on the film on the marketing, so they usually have to double their budget just to go even when they're like making money back. So it's gonna have to hit around about 1 billion, which I just can't see happening like at all.
That's just
So
oh
probably gonna be another flop.
Disney knows no end.
no,
Yeah,
They
100%.
just keep spending money and hoping that the more money they spend on something, the better it will be.
I can't really, apart from maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I can't really name a recent Disney project that I've actually properly enjoyed.
I enjoyed
yeah.
Andor,
Andor was
which
great.
was their Star
Oh, I
Wars
never
one.
finished it.
It's got a slow start. My brother didn't finish it either, but I really enjoyed that.
The last few episodes are
Um,
really good. I don't know if you agree, Mac.
Yeah, the X-Men TV series, I watched that, and that was surprisingly good. Kind of cringy in a little bit because it's trying to emulate that older style it had, but it's still pretty good.
Nice.
That might be it. Maybe Loki. Does Loki count?
Oh, I
as a
love, yeah,
recent?
Loki was great.
That's about it from all the Disney projects they've been working on the past couple of years.
Yeah. Do you like many Disney projects, Cayden?
Um, Not particularly. There was a new film that came out recently with Daisy Ridley, and it was called The Young Woman in the Sea. And I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks fairly interesting. I'll probably watch it. And then I saw the poster, and I saw Disney at the bottom, and instantly I was just like, I am not gonna watch this film. There's just something about it that I'm like, just doesn't interest me anymore, you know?
Yeah, that's fair
Hmm.
enough.
I'm going to bring back the point that you were talking about Godzilla's face when it got exploded
Yeah,
or
yeah,
damaged.
yeah.
I want to also say that I don't feel like Godzilla showed any emotion throughout the entire film.
Really?
And
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't see any emotion come from his face at all. Kind of solidifying that puppetry style, but there's a little part of me that wanted emotion. But it does also show him as a ruthless killer, just going around destroying the city,
Yeah, yeah.
which does make more sense. But yeah, just a little bit of me that doesn't like that.
No, that's fair enough. There was, from what can tell, the only thing that I wasn't too big on about the film, it's literally the only fault I've got with it, was spoilers. The main character's wife dies, and then she just comes back at the last minute, and she's had all this debris thrown on her, and she just comes out with a single like scratch on her head.
Well, she was out for a couple of days.
Yeah, but
Actually, a while.
surely Godzilla's blast would kill you.
Yeah, I think that was a good story because it was the fact that this man had lost so much and he just kept losing and losing, and he thought his life was useless. He didn't feel like he needed to do anything anymore. The only time he ever felt like he was happy was when he was with her, until she went. Then his life was useless again.
Yeah,
So him fighting or deciding to live again for his right, for what he wanted, I feel like he had deserved that right again. It was like he was being congratulated for finally discovering who he was and what he can do.
yeah. I think also at the end, I don't really know what it was. I never really looked into it either. But obviously, you see the spoilers again. The woman at the end, she has like, what is it? There's like a little thing inside of her. There's like a little. It's some sort of like a part of Godzilla or something, something along those lines that she's been
Really?
infected with.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
did you guys not see
I
this?
saw that. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
she turns blue, doesn't she? Well, sort of blue.
Yeah, there's something like wrong with her basically that you see, and then the film cuts. And obviously, I don't imagine they'll make a sequel to this. I mean, they might do, but
I don't want them to.
no, nor do
Yeah.
I. I think it should just be a standalone. But I think that's an interesting way to end the film, to just have that final scene to be a bit of
her
like
neck. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just searched it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like a one more thing for the guy, who's eventually probably gonna have to deal with that situation, unfortunately.
Yeah. What a guy.
I feel to me that just suggests a scar from all of this going on. Although they did kind of pull focus to it, so maybe they're planning on doing a sequel. I don't want a sequel at all. I don't think this movie needs a sequel. They killed Godzilla? How are they going to have a sequel?
Exactly. It's a lot, as Cayden said, it's a lot better being a standalone film, and it's got all this, hype and success, and it deserves it. And I think if the sequel came out, it would just ruin its legacy.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a thing that wasn't very much mentioned by anyone. The water physics are amazing in that movie. You couldn't
Yeah.
tell.
They're really good.
Yeah, the whole movie looks amazing. The mixture of prop design and CGI is just top of the line. I would gladly watch this movie in a heartbeat again. And I watched it maybe a month ago.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna get it a rewatch. Is it on? I know they were gonna release it's called Godzilla -1 minus color. They were gonna do it in black and white. I don't know if
Minus
that's been
colour.
released. Yeah. So I want to watch it in black and white. I think that'd be really cool because they've not just desaturated it. They've color graded it all.
Do you find that funny that we will pay extra? Because I still want to buy the Parasite black and white one. I just find it funny that I could just turn black and white on my screen and I'd get that experience. But because they've redone the color and made it bring up like contrast a bit, you go, oh yeah, I'll just watch it like that. No, just turn black and white on.
Yeah, I don't even like black and white films. Like often I'll look back and be turned off a little bit if the film's in black and white. But I feel like modern black and white is quite cool.
See, no,
it's.
I gotta stop you there.
Yeah.
You gotta watch some black and white films.
Which ones? I'm intrigued.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Cayden, straight off the bat, Psycho. Watch Psycho. That's black and white.
Oh,
and Schindler's List.
I do need
and
to watch
Schindler's
Psycho.
List.
See, for some reason, I've only ever watched black and white Christmas movies.
Well, like It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Miracle on 31st Street, I think.
The black and white
No,
film
that might
I'm
be in
really
colour.
desperate to watch is 12 Angry Men. I really want to watch that.
I want to make it a tradition. I don't know if this is the correct word for this, but I want to watch a black and white movie every time it's my birthday because I have a fond memory of watching a black and white movie on my birthday.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you've got 3
That's
hours
the-
to spare, I recommend Schindler's List. That's a really good film.
Here's another thing that did bother me. Well, not bother me, but just it's not scientifically possible, physically possible, to tow a boat, use boats to tow up a thing that weighs so much underwater. With all that pressure from the water, it would rip those boats apart.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, it's weird. It gets a free pass from me as well, but it's not possible at all.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a. I think you definitely give the film a bit of leeway, especially when there's like a 100-foot lizard running around.
Yeah, that is a good
so
point.
You forget about the science behind it all.
They got the physics behind the explosion so well.
I was just, as you were talking about the explosion, I was rewatching it on YouTube, and it's one of my favorite parts of the film. Just the sound design of like the build up of the spikes coming out, and then the tiny bit of like silence just before you hear the explosion because you see it first and then you hear it. I think it's perfect. One of the best explosions, I think. One of the best like nuclear explosions in films.
I thought the sound design was like right up there with Oppenheimer. I thought he was probably going to win best sound as well, or like best sound effects or something, because it was top tier.
Oh, I forgot about the reporters. God, that was funny.
Oh yeah, just watching Godzilla from a rooftop.
Yeah, right. He's coming towards us. He's going to kill us. I don't know how much longer. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Nice bit of humor.
I think
Also,
Yeah.
I have to say, you commenting on the fact that how did she survive that explosion? I'm just looking back at the photos. She was in the train that he was eating.
Yeah, she should be dead. I'm not.
She
gonna
fell
lie.
out of the train.
And then she
What?
survived the explosion, Godzilla's explosion.
Her dying was not going to be a thing, it seems.
Yeah.
She's invulnerable. That's what this whole movie should be about. Her invulnerability to Godzilla.
Yeah. There was sort of keeping on topic with like the Oscars, like I was saying, there was a really sweet story that I heard that Steven Spielberg he saw the director of Godzilla Minus One at the Oscars, and he told him that he'd watched Godzilla Minus One about 3-4 times in the cinema because he loved it so much. And the director was so thankful to Spielberg that he gave him a Godzilla minifigurine that he took round the Oscars with him, which was really, really sweet. I thought, because the director said he was a massive fan of Spielberg, like Jurassic Park and E.T. and stuff. And I just thought that was a really sweet story.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
That is nice. I love the little explanation of how they're going to drown Godzilla
That
by
was
using
cool.
lots of pressure. I thought it was quite cool. I have no idea if that's actually possible, but it's quite cool.
Good plan. Yeah.
Yet again, bringing up the fact that we don't have those kind of explanations in the UK or in American films. They kind of just quickly put it on the screen, or they explain it as it's happening. To actually spend the time to sit there and watch an example of it is interesting, I say.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Mac. That was really cool, detail that they put in the film.
And with this one, we actually get an explanation of how they're going to do it, how it can fail. And people have to actually sign up for it, which is even more interesting. But that's just to kind of bring up the morale, I think, of the movie. This movie's great.
Yeah, Godzilla, highly. We all three of us recommend Godzilla Minus One. Really good
Oh,
film.
yeah, definitely. I forgot also about the rave lasers when Godzilla dies.
The rave.
The
lasers.
rave. I can't remember that bit.
I don't remember that. No.
Hang on, I'm taking a screenshot and sending it in.
I've just come across a bit of a rabbit hole.
Rave lasers.
There's a channel, and I've just seen, and there's a video called Godzilla Eats Megalodon, and it's a really not great 3D 3D animation. And Godzilla Eats Blue Whale remastered.
That title
There was
goes
this.
hard.
There was this animation that I've heard about recently from watching Corridor Crew, where someone made an old style Godzilla movie in Blender. It looked really good as well. Yeah, this is it. I found the film. I might have just ruined my audio for the recording a little bit, but I found the short film. I'm going to put it in Discord.
I'm sure it's going to be like worth it.
Oh,
Mac.
I love that. By the way, I love the Godzilla the theme tune that they use because they use the original one, don't they? It's
I didn't
so.
know that.
I love
Is
his.
it?
I
Yeah.
love Godzilla's roar in it as well. It's so haunting and loud. It's brilliant.
Is there any
Yeah.
like stuff that you're looking forward to for coming out this year? I haven't actually checked what is coming out this year.
Oh,
I've been
there is a couple.
slacking with movies. I haven't seen a single thing in the cinema. Sorry, Cayden.
I'm really looking forward to Joker 2.
Yeah.
I know not a lot of people are, but I am. When the first one came out, I didn't want a sequel, but I think it looks interesting.
I really enjoyed the original. I'm just I don't like the idea that it might have a musical moment in it because I'm not a big fan of those.
Yeah, I've heard apparently it's a jukebox musical, so
Oh no.
they're using songs. They're not making original songs basically.
Oh, I don't know if that's better or worse.
I quite like jukebox musicals because when you have an original musical, there's a high chance I just won't like the songs, and it puts me off the whole thing.
Yeah. I want to watch Furiosa and Monkey Man. I still haven't watched either of those.
I still need to
Yeah.
watch Dune Part 2. I am so sorry, guys. I still haven't watched that.
Oh, Harry.
I
Harry.
bought the DVD of it. I think I might watch it tonight.
Has anyone watched Civil War yet?
Captain America
Yeah,
Civil War?
I have.
Oh, no. Oh, the Civil War that's come out.
The
Is
one
it
that
good?
comes here.
I wanted to watch that.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I was thinking about. I think I gave it 5 stars. I was thinking about doing a video about it. I just thought it might not get loads of views, but I watched it. I watched the trailer. Wasn't interested at all, and then I watched the film, and I thought it was a lot more interesting than what the trailer gives off.
I'll admit the only reason why I'm interested in it is because they use that DJI camera, and I'm just a camera nerd who wants to see it in action. Really.
I think you'll probably appreciate because if you watch it at home, you've got quite good like speakers and stuff, haven't you, Mac?
If I do say so myself.
Yeah, because when I watched it in the IMAX, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because basically the film's about these war photographers, and they're going through this, fictional civil war and, taking photos. And what I really like about it is because it's not from a military perspective, you follow along with these war photographers. So when things happen, like there's a gun with like gunshots, or there's a part where a jet flies over, it's like deafeningly loud because that is how it would be for just like a normal person. Whereas when you're watching a lot of like military films, it's not like there's a jet passing over and you sort of hear it, but it's not drawn attention to because it's happening all the time. Whereas in this, when there's a gunshot, it's like very impactful, very powerful, just because the noise is so it's so loud. But yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about it.
That sounds brilliant.
I think that this year is going to be A24's year. I'm looking at a list here, and I will just say, Venom. I'm not watching that. I'm just absolutely.
Venom?
I'm not watching that film.
Kind of forgot. I watched the trailer and I thought, yeah, that's quite good. And you've just literally reminded me that it exists, Mac.
It doesn't look good at all. Just absolutely, just it. I don't want to watch it.
I don't know what your thoughts on Venom Arcade, and what do you think?
I fairly enjoyed the first one. It was like quite a surprise that I liked it. Second one, I didn't think it was quite as good. And this one, I will watch it, but I don't know how to feel about it, to be totally honest.
Mac, I think there's a film that's coming out that you'd appreciate. It's a new film called Alien Covenant or something. No, Alien.
Oh
something
yeah,
or other.
yeah, it's on the list. I will
Romulus.
watch that in cinema immediately. Of course I will.
Oh my God, Wolfman! What is this?
Wolfman?
No, what is that?
I don't know. I
That's
just
not
found
real,
it.
is it?
I don't
That
think
looks.
so.
Oh my God! Is that a wolf on his shirt?
Yeah, the jacket he's got on just makes you feel like it's not real.
For me, it's the hair. It looks like what the hell is this?
It looks like
Or
he's
maybe
got
the
noodles on his
huge
head.
HD thing in the corner.
Yeah, that means it's legit, Mac.
Yeah.
HD. Also, the sunrise on
It's in the tree.
the bottom of the trees.
What? Oh yeah. What the hell? Anyway, I think we've chatted about everything under the sun now.
Yeah, I think that's a good episode. Well, I think I think that brings us to the end of our Screen 3 episode about Godzilla -1 and Studio Ghibli and whatever else we talked about. Would anyone like to plug in any of their socials or future projects?
My social, which one should I go with? I've got @FunctionsPod.
Just
I've
put
got
them all
Press
in,
Red.
Put them all in, Mac.
I've got @It'sMacBlah. So I've got all of those.
Just say the one you're most proud of or the one that you use the most.
Oh, I can't pick and choose.
Cayden, do you want to go?
It's fine, Mac. They're all getting bleeped out anyway.
Oh yeah, fair point.
Yeah, just go watch my YouTube channel, I suppose. What's it called again?
You
Cayden
don't remember the name of
something.
your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, CAYDAT. There you go. I'll be linking in the description.
How did you forget that?
Because I forget if I ever have numbers on the end. I don't have my actual YouTube
Oh
channel.
God.
He works very hard on that channel.
Yeah.
I'll go check out my channel, HG Productions. I posted one of my documentaries on there. Well, that's about it. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Screen 3. Once again, I'm joined by...
Cayden.
Greg.
All right.
Okay,
I
now
think
what?
that's it.
Do I press stop?